and welcome again to another edition of Cosmic Destiny or Cosmic Dust. I'm John Wagner, and I'm sharing some of the stories from my life that have made my life worth living. Pardon my sweat, I was just practicing some kicks and stuff, because I also do Kung Fu. So anyway, today I'm going to share some stories about saving lives when I was in Taiwan. So I'm not sure to tell you the story first or kind of what led up to it, but all I can say is you gotta follow your gut, because sometimes you just have to be somewhere and you don't know why. It's just like all of a sudden you gotta be there now, right? So this was one of those days. I got off work, right? All day at work, I was an English teacher. And all day at work, I just couldn't wait to get to the hot springs. I had to get there, right? All day. I was at work and rushing through my work, and I'm on my scooter rushing home, right? And I just couldn't wait to get home and get all my stuff and get up to the hot spring. So I get home and I'm rolling my joint really fast and, right? And I get all my stuff together. I mean, I didn't waste a step. In the door, getting my stuff, roll my joint, right? I was in a rush to relax. So, motor up the hill, get to the hot spring. It's nighttime, by the way. That's why, I was kind of in a rush. Because all day, it was a long day, wanted to get to the springs. I wanted to relax. And by the time I get up there, it's nighttime, like full-on nighttime. So I find, a beautiful pool right next to the river. There's the pool right here, a little rock wall, and here's the river. So I'm in this hot, super hot volcanic water, and I can just roll out into the cold water, and then roll out into the hot water again. Do that a couple times. That'll make you hallucinate. Anyway, I just sit in the pool, and I took one puff of my joint, and then I started hearing these bickering sounds, right? I mean, I'm fluent in Mandarin, 我真的很标准讲中文, but not right now, okay? I'm not going to speak Chinese right now. But anyway, I heard this bickering kind of, because everybody's speaking Taiwanese, which is the Fujian dialect, which is called Taiwanese, but it's really just a dialect of Chinese. Anyway, I don't understand that language. And I could hear people were concerned, right? And so my ears perk up, and I lift my head out of the pool, and people are kind of coming over because it's a huge area. I'd got to say at least 50 yards, maybe 100 yards all the way. Like there's multiple pools, huge pools. There's like 14 pools there. I mean, it's just awesome. And steam, like natural steam rooms. It's amazing. Right? I mean, it's just this wall, a volcanic wall, with like a bar fence that goes down this slippery slope, and the river's right down there. And some of the pools are right next to the river, some are up above. It's just amazing. Anyway, back to the story. So, I mean, I didn't waste a second getting there, right? I just got in the pool, had my one hit, people started bickering. I'm like, what's going on? And people start to move over to the handrail there. And I realized instantly somebody was in the water and needed help. So I just leapt over that, it was about 4 feet high, and I started scanning the water. Now the river at this time of year was swollen. I mean, the river, easy 100 yards. I mean, like a football field long. And I'm scanning the river, and the river is black, right? I mean, it's just a black sheen with, starlight on it. And a little bit of lights, and I scan river, and way out there, I see this little black dot, right? It looks like a pea. I see this little black pea on the top of the water. And that's what it was a person, right? That's what people were concerned about. So I don't know what happened. Something took over me, right? This is one of those stories where something took over me, right? I've had this happen in my life a lot, where some spirit, and I'm going to talk about this later on in my book, which is going to be a video series cosmic destiny or cosmic dust. Because you just, you know what I mean? Coincidence 1, coincidence 2, coincidence 100. You got to start, maybe there's more than coincidence. Anyway, this is one of those days something took over my body. And I started booking downstream, running as fast as I could. And there's there's probably about at least 60, 70, maybe even 100 people all at this place, right? It's a busy hot spring in a huge, populated country. And there's like 30, 40 guys running to the edge of the handrail. And some of them have these, 30-foot long poles. Some people have lifesavers. Some of them have ropes, right? They're all running towards the river. And I'm just bolting through them, pushing them out of the way. Just pushing these guys out of my way as I'm running full bore, barefoot and just almost naked, running full bore, pushing these guys out of the way, running downstream. There's the banister. I jumped over the banister, and the wall down to the river, it's like, it's like sandstone or something, like old sandstone, covered in algae, right? It's like this steep, all the way down to the river. And somehow I was running down that, right? Just running full bore down that fucking slope. Because somewhere in my head, I knew that the thing to do when someone's in the water is you don't go to the water, you go downstream. So if they see you, you can coax them closer to the water or to the shore, right? If they can even push a little bit, it can help a lot. So I go on the hill, and the whole time, I must have been matching his pace in the water. So he was still in the middle of the river. And so I'm running down the hill, and I get right to the edge of the river, of the hill, I didn't miss and I see his head still in the middle of the river. So I just dive in, right? I just dive, and so I had this angle coming down the hill, and he was coming this way. He's still in the middle of the river. And so I dive in at an angle, and I kept that angle, and I just went straight down, just in a straight line in that angle. Down, as deep as I could go, down. And in the last fucking second, I don't know, Hail Mary, because I knew I had to go down for some reason. I just went down, pitch dark. It's pitch black at the bottom of this night river. And in the middle I threw my arm down as low as it could go, just and I caught his armpit. Right there was his armpit. Break the surface, and I got him. Fucking got him. Hail Mary in the darkness, Hail Mary. Got him. Swim to shore, and let me tell you, I am breathing harder right now, telling you this story than I was when this happened. It was the most natural thing I've ever done in my life. I had no pulse. Everything was totally calm. It was weird. So anyway, I get him to the edge of the river, and there's guys waiting there now, right? And this guy in my arms, he's done, right? And I know it sounds weird. I lifted him out of the water on my fingertips. Because these guys didn't get down they were standing there, but they were waiting me. And I literally lifted him from the water onto the shore on the tips of my fingers. He was resting, is what it felt like. Just right on the tips of my fingers. I just raised him up, laid him on the shore by the tips of my fingers. Like the easiest thing in the world, right? So there's a bunch of guys there now, probably 8 guys, 9 guys or something, right? And they're taking him up this slimy, algae-covered hill. And now they've got to get him over that, because now they're helping, right? Now they've got to get him over that, 4-foot banister there. And they can't do it, right? They can't negotiate this handrail some reason, right? I don't know if it was too slippery. And the guy's dead weight, he was breathing, but he was just floppy and, he was unconscious and trying to get him up the hill. And once again, I picked him over the handrail with the tips of my fingers. Just whoop over the handrail and then handed him off to these guys. And again, like I said, it was the most natural thing I've ever done in my life. I'm breathing 10 times harder now than after this all happened, right? The guy was fine. He was just exhausted. He'd been drinking beer and he got caught in that swollen river way out in the middle where it was moving fast, and he just couldn't swim anymore and he went under. So, luckily, I was in a rush that day, right? Luckily, I just followed my guts. I had to get to the hot spring, no matter what. And that's the thing, I only had a certain amount of time, So, it was important. Even though it was late, I had to get there. You know what I mean? And this is what happened. So that guy that I pulled out of the river, he was very thankful. There was a 7-Eleven. Yeah, they're everywhere. 7-Elevens and temples, right? They're all over Taiwan. So he went up, there's a staircase and a street down there, and he went to 7-Eleven and he got a red envelope and he gave me 3,000 NT, which is like $100 US, right? That's a lot of money over there, but it wasn't the point. He was really thankful that I saved his life, because if I hadn't been there, he would have been dead for sure. There was nobody even close to me when I jumped in that river, I got him off the bottom of the river. Just Hail Mary, thank God, amazing. So anyway, I was going to say something else about this, but I kind of forgot all of a sudden. So let me just tell you, in my life, nobody taught me this stuff, but I love swimming, right? I love to swim. So I'll go to a river and I'll find, in the summertime, I just swim in rivers and lakes. I swim across lakes. I'll be in the water in the ocean for 8 or 10 hours, floating and swimming, right? It's natural to me. I love being in the water. I'll go to a river and fight the rapids until I can't fight anymore, right? I'll just swim, and just fight those rapids until I literally lose all I can do is just collapse and float down the river. I'll find a rock the size of my head and I put it in the crux of my arm and I'll lift it out of the water and side stroke to one side of the river. And I get to the one side and I'll heft it over here, get it out of the water, and side stroke to the other side, do that back and forth until I'm tired. Grab that rock the size of my head, hold it up out of the water, and just tread until I can't, until I'm just underwater treading water, holding it up out of the water, and then try to come up and take a breath and keep treading, but holding that rock out of the water the whole time until I just, it's either drop the rock or drown, These are the kinds of things that I do for fun, right? This is fun for me. And so, I don't know, it's a good thing, because another day I went to a place, I think it was Fulong Beach, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been Danshui, but I think it was Fulong Beach. And there was this place, away from where all the tourists went, about, I'd say almost a half a mile. Because, how you can just see down the beach? Maybe even a mile, There's people way down there, and then there's this little spot next to this outcropping of rocks, right? So I get there early in the morning and, jump in the ocean, and oh my God, riptide. I had to fight with every ounce of my strength. Just barely made it back to the buoy line. I just made it back to the buoy line. Otherwise, I would have been out for a long swim, which would have been fine, but, I fought for the buoy line, So I made it, right? Oh God, the buoy line came back in. Holy crap. That was a dangerous spot. And I knew people, because it's a popular spot. So I stayed there all day. And I told people, I said, hey, be careful. Look at those waves. They're breaking real close. I mean, they were breaking like 10 feet away from shore, deep water. Anyway, people wouldn't listen, probably, yeah, like 20 feet away, just breaking close. And it just like sucked them under instantly. As soon as a wave would come, they're gone, So I pulled 5 people out of the ocean that day. 5. Because I was ready to go. I just sat at my towel. I'm looking at the people. I'd see someone out there. Get up and run. Jump in. Grab them. Bring him back in. I took one guy to the buoy line because he was out a little farther. But, it was like that all day long. Oh, there's another one. Jump in. Go grab him. Usually under the arm, or I grab their head. I control their head. I'll get them underneath here. Because that way, if they freak out, their arms are over here. They can't grab you, right? They can't kick you. So I get behind them, and I put them in a little chokehold, right? I get their chin right here, and I lift their chin out of the water. And I just swim like a motherfucker. Bring them in. And they can't do anything. I mean, when you come behind somebody, they can't turn around, they can't kick you, they can't grab you, because they're like this. So it's a good thing to practice, right? Just right under the chin, get behind them, grab them under the chin, pull their chin up out of the water, and into shore. So 5 people that day that, good chance they would have drowned if I had not been there. So that's my water stories in Taiwan, I saved another life there. And since this is saving lives in Taiwan, I might as well just go for it. I know this is kind of long, but anyway, I was on my way to band practice one day. And I was going to Xinzhuang to go play some music with my buddies. I was in a band called The Freeloaders. Yeah! I'm a drummer in that band and the singer. Maybe I'll put a link in if I learn how to do that. But The Freeloaders live. It's Taipei Metal Live, The Freeloaders live at the wall. Anyway, look them up. It's punk rock! So I'm going down a bridge, right? Super busy scooter traffic, just, like a school of fish. Shoulder to shoulder scooters, just solid. And there was like a bottleneck, right? And so I come up to this guy, and I don't know if there was any like timing involved here either. Maybe I was in a rush, but you know what? I'm always in a rush. Like, I'm in a rush to relax. I'm always doing something, Even if it's just to come home and sit on my butt, I'm in a rush to do it. So there's a spot where it's bottlenecking, and I'm like, what's going on? And I had a bigger, I had a, Kimco 250. It was about a 450-pound scooter, so it was a big one. It wasn't a little 175. It was a 250 biggie. And so I see there's a bike down, there's a man down. So I pull my bike up behind him at an angle, right? And block traffic around him. And I get off my bike. And so I see his face. He must have, there's a little curb here. He must have turned his front tire into the curb and just face down at 30 miles an hour, 40 maybe even, just boom, flat. His face was flat. So, where you would expect to be cheekbones, the concrete was level to here, to his orbital, right? So his face up to his orbital, it was just flat to the ground. Flat. I couldn't see anything, but it was just, that's where his face ended, was at his orbitals, right? There were streaks of blood going out about, I'd say 20, maybe even 25 feet, 20 feet, because when he hit the ground so hard, all his teeth came out, and there was trails of blood from his teeth, right? Just trails of blood coming out from his skull on the ground. And he wasn't breathing. That was my concern, right? He wasn't breathing. So when you get a patient like this, and I was a medical professional. I was a CNA and an ER tech for 4 years, and I've been in the operating room, I've been in acute care, I've done, interventional radiology, back when CNAs could do stuff, right? I want John to do my enema. Anyway, it's a skill. So I was concerned about maybe, a cervical fracture or something wrong with his back. But biggest thing is he wasn't breathing, right? So airway. I didn't even check his pulse. I just thought airway first, because he wasn't breathing. So I take his head and I take his shoulder to keep everything together, and I just lift it up. I just lifted his face off the ground about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, right? It's just off the ground. And as soon as I lifted his face off the ground, he just went. He started breathing. He was breathing through all that shit like just mush, right? His face was mush, but he was breathing. So I just talked to him. I held him there in place, totally solid, talking to him the whole time. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. You're going to be okay. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. You're doing great. I'm here with you. You're going to be fine. Just keep breathing, in Chinese. And, and he just did that for about 10 minutes. It was a long one, maybe even 15. It was a long wait. Like usually they're on it. 5 minutes, dude, they're there. But this one was long, probably because it was rush hour. So I'm holding him there, he's just the whole time that fucking breathing. It was gnarly, right? The ambulance crew came. They had a backboard, and then they took over. And while they took over care for him, I directed traffic. I kept, the traffic from the ambulance and the scene and everything. And then the cops showed up. I took off. I just didn't wait for anything. I just got on my scooter. As soon as the cops came, I was like, hey, gave him the salute and took off. If I had not lifted that man's head off the ground, he would be dead. People were just driving by, because that's what most people do. There's accidents all the time. But, sometimes just a little intervention, something like as small as just, keeping his cervical, keeping his spine in the same position and just getting him off the ground. I'm confident to say that if I had not been there, because he was not breathing and unable to breathe, if his face had stayed plastered to the ground like that, he would have died. I don't know how close he was to being dead when I lifted him off the ground, but it was like, same thing. It was a Hail Mary breath, just. He was working hard, right? It wasn't an easy thing to do. That's why I kept, 加油, kept telling him, 呼吸呼吸不要停，我不会离开你，我在这里，等一下，没事，事情都会好, right? Everything's gonna be okay. So, yeah, I saved some lives in Taiwan. There are people there today living a beautiful, amazing life in a beautiful, amazing place because of my personal intervention. So I don't know, the one where the Hail Mary one, that was different. It really was different. Something was different about my body. But anyway, the cool thing was I had that's right. When I pulled the guy off the bottom of the river, I had a kung fu competition the next day. And I didn't care. Like after that, after saving his life, I didn't care, right? Nothing else mattered. Nothing else in the world can be more productive than saving a human life. It just, saving life, you can earn $1 million, you can have kids, but when you save someone else's life, that's what it's about, right? That's the meaning to life. Save some life. The next day I went to that competition and I got first place because I didn't care. You see what I mean? I just didn't care. So I went to the competition and I just got first place, because I had no worries about winning or losing or anything because I saved that guy's life. It didn't matter if I won or lost, So anyway, I know this was a long one. I've got more stories of saving lives, here in America, in Oregon. But we'll get to that later because this is almost a half an hour. So I'm sorry. Maybe I should split it up a little bit. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you like it, Just put that like button, right? Subscribe, because I'll be doing some more. But anyway, I'm a little long-winded today. But hey, this is my therapy too. Sharing these amazing stories with you that make life worth living. All right. Love you guys. Same thing, Right? Light, love, bless God, everything, Give thanks to the Creator, worship the Goddess, Whatever gets you to love people unequivocally, with no buts, right? You're a great person, but I wish you were Muslim. You're a great person, but I wish you were a Taoist. You're a great person, but I wish you were Christian. No buts, brother. You're a great person. All right? You're great. You don't need anything else. Whatever, God loves you no matter what you do. And that's, like it or not, right? Evil or bad. That's just the way it is, Love is love, and love only knows love, right? So, even if you think someone's bad and they're evil, yes, even God loves them. So, hate is a construct of mankind, Not even animals hate. We do. So that's something else we can do with our life, is just, don't be a hater. Be a lover, right? If you can, and an opportunist. Whatever. I'm going to shut up now, okay? Like, subscribe, whatever. Just have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.